I did one time. They had the Snickers ice cream bar, which is fucking goat.
Oh, that's
the goat
that's the
of
pinnacle.
ice cream.
That's the pinnacle of ice cream. You can't get any better.
Its only problem is that thing melts fucking quick.
Yeah, there's no savoring it.
No.
You gotta fucking shove it down.
Welcome to the Chip and Cern Show, the podcast about everything and nothing at the same time. They were possibly separated at birth, only to be rejoined to create the sweet sounds that will caress your deepest cochlea. The show is real, random, rant-filled, and ruthless. Please be warned that this show may hurt your feelings, offend your grandma, and even kick your dead dog in the balls. So get ready, and let's get this shit started.
This shit has started. I'm Chip.
I'm Cern.
And you were listening to the Chip and Cern Show.
Yes, once again, or possibly for the first time.
We made it. We made it. We're back here with another live episode. Just like every other episode, more or less. And I believe this episode 398 or 399. We're approaching 400, folks. For anyone that's keeping score at home.
We're getting there. 400.
That's a lot. That's a lot. I don't even, they definitely could take, if they took all the hours of speaking content that we have put out on the internet, we don't even need to that. We have said every word. They can. They could have us saying the most incriminating, the incriminating thing ever.
So I'm trying to see how many hours are in a year. Let's see.
Oh man.
So I'm trying to think
have we had a year of talking potentially?
Not quite.
No, I don't think so.
There's 8,700 hours in a year.
So 400 episodes, and we'll what would you say our average episode length is?
45.
I would
50
say
minutes.
Yeah, 45 to 45 is probably a good one. So, someone do the math on that one. Solid.
Not me.
Solid. So somebody not us. Do the math. Do the math on it. Oh, man. Sometimes technology throws you the curveballs, but we made it happen. We made it happen today.
Yeah, we were struggling a little bit to get going.
Well, big news at the office, CERN. We are out with the Zoom, in with the Microsoft Teams.
Welcome aboard.
For video. Welcome to the Teams.
Welcome to the team.
Well, we're only for video conferencing needs at this time.
Okay.
But quote, we're currently evaluating, other
Slack, or
other I think Zoom. I think especially during the pandemic, it had a stranglehold on everybody.
It served its purpose, but then I think they did the old Toys R Us and we'll just hold stat and
and they got passed by almost every other platform, it seems. And no one, did you ever? I never have met anyone that I love Zoom. Zoom is my go-to thing. It's like you just deal. It's a necessary evil.
Yeah, there's always a problem.
And so we have Teams now. I have the app for my work computer and everything, and I would say on a scale of 10 on being tech savvy, I probably would rank myself maybe a 7.5 and 8.
Yeah,
I feel pretty confident with my abilities to navigate.
I can get around, and if I don't know it, at least I know enough about tech. I can back my way into it.
Exactly. I could also Google it, so I know how to. But I downloaded the app, but I didn't have a license. So I didn't have all the full feature set, and this was a high-profile meeting that I was on, and I wasn't on it. I wasn't having to speak or anything, but I had to pay attention, and I couldn't figure out, and I didn't have access to the blurred background, which I normally have.
Oh, yeah, that's what I have.
So everyone was seeing the fucking major spare bedroom vibes that I was rocking with. There's literally fucking Amazon boxes on the spare bed behind, piles of clothes that's always hidden. And I'm like, oh my God, the fucking, I'm just for
us at work, there's a big thing where people use the backgrounds, but they used to they're in a apartment overlooking Manhattan.
Yes.
It's it's everyone uses the same floor or some shit. I just go blurred background.
I just go blurred too because the other ones they don't even look real. So it's like why bother?
Some of the people do like the company logo in the back. You know, they do that shit. One guy. He had it's his fucking wall. Like he's like sitting in this white wall.
Yeah, he's like
he has
in a
a
prison.
he has like a little flag of the company, right? Like pin, like push pin, safety. Makes me laugh.
They always send out those like, oh, it's the culture ones, you know, and for Pride Month they got the rainbow ones, and they'll roll out the different ones for whatever holiday. I'll fuck around with the Christmas one or something every once in a while, but I never go for the, you know, I'm not like over the top company guy. Like, oh, I gotta have the slogans and the logos, and you know, I don't know, it's too much.
Blurred background. That's all.
Just
I do.
the
Just blurred background.
Yeah. So I'm on Teams now. I haven't.
If I use the company's slogans. Usually I'm doing it to be ironic, you know.
Yes.
Kind of like
you're like, oh, look at me, I'm a brown noser.
Yeah.
So yeah, but you know, they always will, or we'll do one as a joke. I think, you know, somebody was their last day or whatever, and everybody changed their background to like a picture of that person or something.
Okay,
so
that's
something like that, you know, that was kind of fun. But
that's fine. I'll partake in something like that.
The after logging hundreds, thousands of hours on Zoom, the novelty of the background has worn thin, thin in my eyes. So blurred it is, heavy blur.
For me, this is my take from what I can see, even in Teams.
Yeah,
it's usually the boomer crowd that's like fucking with the backgrounds and the filters and shit like that. I think they're
the filters. Oh yeah, I don't fuck with any of that stuff either.
No, but I see it. I'm like, it's always a certain age group.
With the blurred background though is sometimes, you know, like one of my kids will walk up, and then all of a sudden, like I was on a meeting with somebody, and they're like, "Oh my god," because like just out of the blurred, just a fucking head just popped in.
An apparition just popped in.
Person just popped in, like a little fucking toddler head just popped right into the background. So that was a good laugh there, and you know, you can also see. I do find it entertaining to kind of see the shadows and the movements behind other people.
I had that on. It was today. So I did it yesterday. So I had to be on camera. It was our team meeting, which was fine, but I just had to blur background. So we're talking, and Melanie was over in the middle of the day. I don't know why.
Getting a sandwich or something.
It was the boys' first day of school. So so she was over, and so I was talking.
That's nice.
She like came into the room. Now, usually, to their credit, usually I'm off camera.
Yes.
Usually I take a hard stance. If I don't have to be on camera, I will not be on camera.
Now, does it put your profile picture up there? Like, do you have a profile picture, or does it just say C? Just the big C?
It just says SC.
SC. Okay, yeah.
And I've been told before, like, you should put a profile picture. I'm like,
probably not.
I'll get around to it. So I had the blurred background, and I can see, like, I can hear the door open, and they did like oh shit, and then like did like a fucking like barrel roll into the, you know, like you see it, but then you can still see it. I'm just like shaking my head, like.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. I forgot to mention, we forgot to discuss. I mean, last week, or it wasn't last week. Maybe it's 2 weeks ago when we were over there. You know, you're always raving about Dutch Bros coffee.
Ooh, yes.
And I was like, I got to try this. We had a drive back home, which ended up taking 3 hours.
Yeah.
So it was challenging, to say the least. And but I was like, you know what I need to get ready for a long drive, especially after being, you know, exhausted. I think I had my race before. So I was pooped. I was tuckered out.
I got it all weekend.
Yeah. So I needed the biggest fucking iced coffee I can get my hands on. And you and the missus and the kids are always raving about Dutch Bros. So we took you up on the recommendation, and then we happened to have forgotten something at your house, so we had to go back. So we said, "Oh, we'll grab you guys Dutch Bros." But I will say, without question, in terms of the iced coffee, if you compare Starbucks to Dutch Bros, hands down, Dutch Bros.
Night and day.
Night and day.
That's usually my go-to drink. So that's why I like it, because like I said before, Starbucks is the earthy taste. I'm like, it's a dirt taste.
It is
over roasted.
Over roasted is what the taste is. Fucking, they just were like, oh, you're supposed to, when you throw something in the microwave, you're like, maybe 30 seconds will do it. You're like, no thanks, I'll just put it for 2 minutes. Yeah. And it's just like bubbling, just the fucking oatmeal just jizzed all over your entire microwave and shit. But I did notice, and we don't have a Dutch Bros near us here, so I don't see the flavor, the people there. It seems to be the employees there. It's like it's a certain type. It's like a vibe, like it's a vibe that you work at Dutch Bros. Like it's okay
between 18 and 24, but it's like
it's like a pride. It's like it's sort of part of their identity is like, oh yeah, I work at Dutch Bros kind of thing, which isn't a bad thing. I'm just saying I noticed this.
Yeah, you're right. It's like, and they always did they ask you what you're doing?
Yeah.
Always asking, what's going on today?
And then when I go, and your wife had some, to me it looked like some sort of like latte thing. But then I got up there, and the guy's like, "Oh, did you have?" And I know, as two lovers might share the same coffee order. I know me and Cern both getting the large black cold brew, and that's it. Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, and then you had 2 large black cold brew, Wallaby half and half with blah, blah, blah." I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you just said because you just rambled it off so quick, but okay, Send it. I mean, I assume that's what your wife got. I didn't. White chocolate, mocha, Wallaby thing. Like, I'm like, whatever, just give it to me. Did I order this? You have my order.
Yeah, you took it, right? Okay. Yeah. Guess as good as my buddy.
So, I need to find, I think there's a Dutch Bros, but it's up in like Petaluma, so I'd have to really seek it out.
Every so often, like if it's like late in the day, and I'm like, man, I can really get for a pick-me-up, but I've had too much coffee today. Like the taste is just like, okay. I go for they call them Rebels.
Oh.
It tastes exactly like a Red Bull.
Oh. It's like it has caffeine in it, or it's
it's like their energy drink. It's like it tastes.
Oh, they have energy drinks.
I swear to God, it's like it's like a Red Bull, but they call them Rebels. And you could do like, so I was like, one time I had it, I was like I kind of was like, I have a Rebel. They're like iced or blended. I'm like iced. They're like
blended.
Well, what kind of? They like put it in like almost like a fucking slushy.
Sounds kind of delightful. Sounds kind of nice.
So they're like, what kind of flavor do you want? I was like, what do you mean? Like, we'll add some syrup to it, whatever it is. I was like, I don't really like sweet. Everything kind of tart. Like, we have a Sour Patch Rebel. I was like, I'll take that. Send it. And it was delicious.
Oh, I like that. Now, my daughter is approaching 8, and I would say it's a very good age. There's a lot of questions still, but I like the questions because it's like, oh, there you go. Cerny's cracking another. He's got one of Arizona iced tea for himself here. Satisfying. But I don't normally go to Starbucks. I have a bougie coffee situation at home, espresso machine, pour over, Chemex, ice, you name it, I got it. But my coffee level is above. I'm not afraid. I'm above Starbucks. Starbucks is beneath me in terms of quality of coffee. I've said it. There you go.
Yeah, I remember back when they first were saturating the market. They were like, we select the best. The CEO selects the beans himself, and like he flies out. I'm like, get
Schultz,
the fuck out of here.
Is that what was that fucking guy's name? Yeah.
So, like, would you take the plane with fucking Mr. Folgers himself?
Yeah, Mr. Folgers. It's basically a notch above Folgers, is what Starbucks is.
Did you ride?
Yeah.
Did you ride the undercarriage with Mr. Folgers' plane? Did you get there? Fuck you.
And so, but we go to Starbucks because we'll be out and about, and again, we're out and about. I've started trying to. I have a soft line that I try not to cross very often of 2 p.m. no coffee after that, just because I have noticed it kind of does affect my sleep a little bit, and I'm trying to be a good boy about my sleeping. So 2:00 is kind of my limit. Not saying that's a hard line. I do, you know, if it's needed. Yeah, rules are meant to be broken. So, we'll be out, we'll hit the Costco, we'll go to Target, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's 12:30. It's hot. Fucking iced coffee sounds pretty good. So we'll go to Starbucks, and my daughter's like, do you like Starbucks? I'm like, no, not really.
No,
I'm like,
not really.
She's like, why do we go then? I'm like, well, I would rather make it at home, but it's literally, I know what I'm going to get. It's right here. I got the app, and they keep fucking with the reward stars.
So
you
we've
can't.
done the same thing where it's like we're out and like, oh, I really need a coffee right now. And it's like, where are we? There isn't. The only thing around here is Starbucks.
Bros.
Like, well, I guess Starbucks it is. Fuck. So,
you know, I try to, but I have been getting the Shakerados that Starbucks has. It's espresso, which is burnt ass espresso, then ice, and then like whatever. I get it with oat milk, and I think there's maybe like a little like a pump of brown sugar, and they just shake it up so it's, you know. And I get the small size, so it's like two. So I'm literally just like, fucking, how quick can I get this down the hatch, and then that's it. I'm not savoring anything. Not savoring anything.
It's called being an addict.
Yeah, just trying to stop the shaking.
Next time your daughter asks,
yeah,
why you go here? It's called being an addict. Got to get your fix.
Got to get the fix in. Got to get the fix. Now, you know, if you were listening, if the Cerny Sleds and the Chipmunks, of course they were listening. Last week, they know your son had to get his fix of sharks.
Yes, he did.
And that was resulting in you, just you, or the whole family going to see Meg 2 The Trench?
My wife went, Jeffrey went, and then Jeffrey's friend wanted to go. So Zach said, I want to sit this one out. I said, that's cool. That's fine. Yeah. So his friend went. Now,
do you have to, I don't know, how does this work? It's PG-13. Do you get permission from the parents, or is it like, you know?
I think Robin asked, like, is it okay if...
you just let the wife handle that stuff.
Yeah, so-and-so goes.
Get the permission slip signed and
we're going to see this.
Is
it cool if he sees it? Yeah, she said, yeah. So I was like, okay. So I picked him up, and we went to the theater. So, you know, theaters now, it's not a free-for-all. Like,
no.
At least you got to pick your seats. You got to, you know, whatever it was. So...
And you go on Fandango, or
yeah? So I went on Fandango and selected the seats, and it was pretty wide open when I got it. So I got the back row was taken, so I just got the one in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
Center, you know, center, yeah. So we get there.
Everyone's doing the reclining seats now too, like the nice luxury.
Yeah, I know.
Ones.
It's why it's weird. Yeah. I was like, I always, every time I go to theaters now, I'm like, man. Jeffrey like kicks his shoes off and reclines. I'm like, you never know the pain of the fucking red seats.
I literally we're almost nearly as bad as a fucking bleacher. And those seats, do you think they even ran a vacuum or any sort of anti spray on those theater seats from back then? Fuck, those things.
No way. They were. Remember the floor? It's always a joke. The floor was sticky.
Yeah. I'm like, is this jizz or Coca-Cola? What's this thing? Is
I know. So the funny thing is, so we get to our seats and we're walking up there, and there's somebody sitting like we're next to where the four seats are.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll sit next to whoever this person is. Now,
rando.
This is where I couldn't stop laughing. It was our neighbor, or somewhat of a neighbor. One of the weirdos that came knocking on my door asking me to refinish his furniture, and I blew him off.
Oh no. Did he recognize you?
Oh yeah, he did. He did the double take, and I was like, "This is going to be nice and awkward for the next 3 hours."
Did he try to engage in conversation before the trailer? Before
he
the
just
previews?
fucking stared at me like he did like the what the hell? Because I did the same thing. Like we did like the full, and we just looked, and I kind of started chuckling, like, well,
yeah.
He was the guy, I think I said this on the show, where he knocked on the door and answered it, and he was just standing there. and then I was standing there, and we just had like this stare off, and I was just like, "What the hell is this guy?" And then he goes, "Hi, I'm your neighbor. I live over here." Like he just
took
pointed.
a beat.
I'm like, "Okay," and he's like, "Do you refinish furniture?" I was like, "Not really. I mean, I do, but not. I don't want to go to your house and do them." But he's like, "Can you just take a look at it?" And I was like, "Not really."
Oh,
He's
is
like,
this the heirloom piece?
Yeah, he pulls out his business card and gives me his business card. So we go to his house, and he was like, "This is my mom's when she moved, but she passed away when this guy's like older, so I'd assume,
Yeah,
unless she was like 105." So, and that's where I was like, "There's no way. I don't want to touch this guy's mom's fucking furniture. No fucking way."
yeah. You just run the sander a little too heavy on it, and you fucking gouge into that.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I want to. I mean, it's just one of those like. I'm not a master craftsman where it's like I can refinish it to good as new. I think I could, but I don't want to make a mistake on his shit.
And whatever your skill level is, you'll never be able to match what his expectations are because they're so lofty and impossible to achieve. It's a fool's fucking errand to take that project on.
He was just very odd. So I was like, that's the other thing. It's like, so it's his mom's stuff. She's obviously dead. He's odd. This guy's just weird. He just stands at the door, doesn't say a word. Even though he ran
how long did he wait for? Like 20 seconds?
It seemed like an eternity. I couldn't tell you.
Was it like you saw the moons like going up and down the sunset? You're like, cycling through the. He's just like, hello, yeah,
Because I was just like, I opened the door, and usually it's like, hi, I'm so and so, but he just was.
He is inquiring at your house.
Yes.
So he should bring forward. He should kick off the.
Like my house is a place of business. Like I'm supposed to have a fucking greeter. Hi, can I help you today? It's like you're at my house. It's not like I don't know what the fuck you're here for.
Right.
But yeah, so he was odd. So I was like, and so I was like, well,
wait, he was there solo?
No, he was there as I assume it's his wife.
Oh, okay.
Wife, girlfriend, mistress, some other partner. So I was like, I'll sit next to him. So and then I had, elbowed. My wife was like, "Hey, remember that guy that came to the door with blue eyes?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "He's sitting right next to me." She's like, "No fucking way." I said, "Yeah."
Like, switch seats.
So we're just waiting for the previews to start, and they decide to pull up the trailer for the Meg. They're like, "What?" So they're like, "Oh wow!" And they're like watching. I was like, "Did you buy tickets and not know what you're getting into?"
Oh, on his phone, he's like, "Oh, what? Yeah. I wonder what this movie's about."
Yeah, it was I was like.
Whoa.
Man, I'm so glad I didn't redo his fucking piece.
Oh my God. Wow. Okay, you got your popcorn? What are the kids into these days for the snacks?
Ices, they got the 50-50 ice, half blue, half red,
Nice.
I got myself a beer. I was like, well,
I do appreciate the fact that there's a beer situation there. And I don't know about your movie theater. I mean, my wife acts like she's fucking Nicolas Cage trying to steal the Declaration and is like smuggling in a couple sparkling waters and some snacks for the kids. I'm like, you think a fucking 14-year-old kid gives a flying fuck if you're trying to bring in a sandwich?
That's what my wife did. She had the candy and stuff, but she had smuggled it in and kind of gave it to Jack Jeffrey. Hold on to these. It was this whole thing.
First, he had to mule it in. She made your son
like his own shit.
Okay, yeah.
And like. I made a comment which didn't fly very well with the wife. I was like, remind me, if I'm going to commit a crime, I'm not doing it with anybody here, right? I said, Jeffrey, you are the worst. He's like holding out, like it's like he's holding like a fucking Fabergé egg or something underneath his coat. I'm like, dude, just walking normal. First off, the dude don't care. He's not going to spear you in the lobby over a box of fucking Milk Duds. It ain't happening, buddy.
Yeah, on the 10 o'clock news. Local family arrested trying to smuggle in Sour Patch Kids into the movie theater. More at 8.
So yeah, they smuggled theirs in. I got my beer. Nice. And
did he really get Milk Duds?
No, I think you're Sour Patch. I couldn't think of what he had, but when you said Sour Patch, that's exactly what he had. I was like, oh, that's what it was.
Yeah. That's what the kids go for. My son has been into... They're actually pretty good. It's like nerd... It's sort of like it's not a Red Vine. It's like
the Nerd Ropes.
Nerd Ropes.
Yep.
and then they kind of slice them up to be little nerd bites.
Nuggets or something.
Nuggets, yeah. So those are pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I did pinch a couple off of them.
Then my daughter goes for she's a fiend. She's a candy fiend like my wife. She's a sugar fiend.
Okay.
There's a lot of like waffling between. I want this and I want this. I'm like, listen, you're going to get a little bit of everything. You're going to con your brother out of this. Like, just pick some. It's all going to be fine. Like, we don't need to stress about it.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
You've said several years of this. Jeffrey does that too. I've gotten mad in the aisle of a store one time telling him, you're not buying a house. You're not buying a car. This isn't a major purchase. Just pick
candy.
A fucking candy, please.
So she's had good success with the Minute Maid, like frozen little lemonade things, which I think is generally like, it takes them a while to eat that. So I don't mind it. Like, and then I'll go for some peanut M&Ms or popcorn. Yes. That's just me though. Or I did one time, they had the Snickers ice cream bar, which is fucking goat.
Oh, that's
the goat
that's the
of ice cream.
That's the pinnacle of ice cream. You can't get any better.
Its only problem is that thing melts fucking quick.
Yeah, there's no savoring it.
No.
You gotta fucking shove it down.
You have to be unwrapping it as you're not even into the theater yet. You have to be, or the room. You got to be starting to unwrap it because that thing starts going quick.
The tin candy shell.
Yeah, and then by the time you sit down, you're like on your last bite, and then the wife is like, "Oh, can I get a bite?" I'm like, "A bite of what? It's fucking gone.
It's gone.
It's gone. It was melting. It was literally melting." Now, Tell me if you observe, are the trailers at least 30 minutes of previews now? I feel like.
Yeah, it was forever, and I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah, anything good that you saw?
No, nothing stuck out where I was like, oh, you know what? Let me chalk that down as something I want to see. I don't remember any of that. I don't remember any of that.
Yeah. I think we did see the it's at the kids ones, it's good because, it's like, okay, here's at least I can kill one Saturday.
Yeah.
In like November, early November, I can kill one Saturday, just like keep this somewhere in the top of my mind. But then the Meg 2.
So, the Meg 2. So I looked up the Rotten Tomatoes because remember we had, we said we were.
I have it up as well.
So you were right. Chip was right. It's sitting around 28. 28.
Audience score though 73.
I don't know, man. It was rough. It was. Wow. So it starts off with like you're back in the opening submarine part. You're back in the Cretaceous period or some shit, and there's dinosaurs.
Oh,
so the T-Rex so it kind of goes through like the whole like some thing eats a bug, this other animal eats this, whatever. T-Rex comes out and eats one of the one of these lizards. They actually come back later in the movie, but anyway.
But your son was probably eating that up. Like that sounds like a layup for him.
So then, like, my problem was then, like, Tyrannosaurus Rex is on the beach and the fucking Meg jumps out, like, beaches himself to eat this thing and slides back. I was like, hey, wait a minute.
What?
Yeah, I was like, okay, that's how we're starting it. Fine.
And so the Meg is like, how many X bigger than T-Rex? 10X? It's just thing as massive, as big as a house.
It's massive. It's supposed to be. Now, I looked it up how big they were. This is going to come play later on in my review.
Okay.
Even Jeffrey thought of this, so that's how bad. That's how egregious this is. It's supposed to be about 60 feet, maybe up to 70 feet.
Wow. I mean, it's
supposed to weigh about 50 tons.
50 tons.
So it's 100,000 pounds.
Wow.
Up to 60 tons, which is 120. I was like, okay. So then after the Megalodon eats the Tyrannosaurus Rex, smash cut to Jason Statham and he's like working out. The usual shit. He's
shirt off?
Oh yeah.
Of course.
He's in like a shipping container and he has to like break out. Well, he's like he like blows the side off with some fucking tactical shit, whatever it was. And he's on like a shipping vessel and they're like dumping radioactive material in the sea.
Oh boy.
And he has to he's got to go bust them, because he's part of this ecological crew that's saving the world, which turns into him, karate fighting, 5 guys at one time.
Yeah.
The usual shit. And I was like, okay. And then they pick, he jumps overboard and this plane scoops him up. Like, oh, bad idea. Oh, he made it. Okay, yeah, great. And then they go to this. They go to some place. This is where it starts getting a little wild.
But nobody else that he works with is of the same muscular stature. Or everyone else is like a nerd, like scientist kind of.
Yeah. There's a lady. She was driving the plane. I think she was part of some sort of special forces thing with whatever it was. So they go to this where I don't even know what the fuck it is. But anyway, it's a guy and they have a Meg. They have a captive Meg, which I was like, captive Meg. And he's gonna do a dive and he can control it with these clicks, and I was like, what the fuck? But then it doesn't work and they gotta pull him out quick enough and so then, okay, so now we're gonna...
How big's this fucking...
It's fucking huge.
Was he at SeaWorld, this guy? They have they literally have the one ick of his extinct fucking shark. And
I know. They can't even master... I was thinking this at the time. I was like, they can't even master... They don't have a tank large enough for a great white shark because it needs so much territory. They just can't keep him captives. And this motherfucker has a Meg. Whatever. And it's in the ocean. They have basically, it's almost like Deep Blue Sea where they have
That's right. Okay. It's like an ocean thing.
Yeah.
Okay. That's right.
But still, it's not large enough, but whatever.
Yeah.
So it breaks out. But they don't know it because they're going to go on their dive, so they're going on the dive down to the trench, right?
No security, no alert systems, fail safe. Hey, our fucking giant ocean dwelling is busted.
It broke, whatever. And it
broke
through these bars. It was fucking stupid. Anyway,
did he just ram through it with his big dumb
exactly.
Meg head?
That's exactly what he did.
Okay.
So the dive. This is where so they're diving down the trench, and they're doing some shit. And the people from before. There's a couple people from before. Well, I think it's only one person before. But whatever. It doesn't matter. The little girl that was in the first one, she's now a teenager. The mom's dead. I assume she didn't want to sign off with Meg 2. She probably read the script and decided, I'm not doing this. And they had to kill her off. So she's dead. So he's taking care of her. And she sneaks aboard one of the fucking submersibles. They're in submersibles too, which maybe give you a chuckle.
Oh, boy. Or is there any carbon fiber involved in these ones? Or they have PlayStation controllers and shit?
So they have this fucking... So they're diving down and... There's this thermo layer, right? So they know there's Megs and shit down below this thermo layer, but they can't make it through the thermo layer. But then they see there's a Meg up front. Oh, I don't know what happened. It must have broke out. So they have to dive through the thermo layer to escape the Meg that broke out of their
because the Meg is hungry just to eat a submarine, a submersible thing.
What are the odds it rings? But whatever. They break through, and then it's this whole thing where there's a fucking base down in the Marianas Trench, and they're mining fucking minerals and setting them up, and these people find it, and they set up these detonators, and
tens of thousands of miles below,
25,000 miles below.
Wow!
So there's
a whole station set up down there. They're able to construction. Okay.
Yeah. So then They set the thing, they blow it up, and it fucks with the things, and both submersibles, there's 2 of them, they crash down to the bottom. They don't have enough oxygen, so they got to make it to the station that's already there, luckily.
Oh, wow.
So they put on these fucking Iron Man suits.
Oh, no.
They're walking across. Yes. And they're walking across the fucking floor of the thing.
Of this trench, 25,000 feet.
Yeah. And a couple people die from, I don't know, some other shit. So then those lizards that were in the first part with the Jurassic Park, they're swimming down there now. Apparently they adapted to the trench. So they have to fight these things, and they get in, and they do this shit, and then they're like, I don't know what's going on down here. So then they said, well, there's some escape pods on the other on the other end of the base or whatever it is. Okay, we have to go over there. And so they find this room with all this shit in it. It was all the minerals they're mining. So the guy's like, well, one of these briefcases is worth at least $1 billion. $1 billion with the B. So then they leave. And I told him, I was like, if I heard that, I'm taking a suitcase with me. I'm already down there.
I know.
Fucking, I'm taking at least one.
Wow.
So they go, and then it ended up being sabotaged, and someone from the inside had sabotaged them. And so then this is where I about fell out of my chair.
Uh-oh. Was it reclined, though? Was it reclined?
Yeah. It almost launched me to the front. So then they're doing this thing, and they get trapped, and they're trying to flood the cell there and whatever. So Jason Statham then has to free swim 25,000 feet below with nothing. Not even the Iron Man suit, because they had ditched it on the other half of the station. And they try to say, like, water doesn't compress under the pressure, only air does. So if he breathes through his sinus cavity, it'll be fine. I was like, what the fuck?
But I mean, first of all, this base couldn't even exist. Second, he would be instantly, the pressure, he would be instantly vaporized.
Yeah, but he has to free swim. Then the bad guy's on the other side, and they fight. There's more fighting. And then
but they're in the thing, or are they fighting in the water at 25,000?
No, he had made it, and the guy had of course he made it just in time. He was passing out and hits the button or what, the usual shit.
Of course.
Yeah. And then they start fighting, and then they escape. And I forget how they fucking do it. I was too fixated on him free swimming 25,000 feet down.
That was cool because he was breathing through his nose.
He's got to swim. I was like, okay, hold on. Now we're just throwing up.
Why
not just dive yourself? Why do you need a submersible? Why don't you just fucking send Jason Statham down to free swim?
Yeah, hold on to a center block and just hold on, and you'll just make it to the bottom of the fucking oceanic trench.
So they escape, and then there's a hole blown in the thermoplast or whatever it is, the thermal layer. So the Megs escapes. There's 3 of them or some shit. And the Kraken escapes, too. There's a Kraken in there, too, the giant squid.
Wow.
So then they go to some other base, and they have to, free the few good people left because there's some military operatives that are trying to take over. And these military operatives, they have machine guns. And they're supposed to be, special ops military, and they can't hit shit. I mean, they shooting at Jason Statham down a hallway, and they're spraying the walls. It's like, what the fuck?
Oh my
so
Lord.
then, it's like stupid campy shit. He's on a fucking. They get off the boat, the oil rig or whatever the fuck they're on a raft with a motor on the back of it, on the open ocean, right? Yeah. And they're chasing him with a machine gun. They can't hit him on open water. And he has a red dot sight. That's the other thing. He has a red dot sight.
Cog scoped his
I've played plenty of I've logged plenty of Call of Duty hours.
Yeah.
I can hit that. Come on.
Yeah.
And then the Meg saves him, eats the fuck or some shit. And then so they get off, and then they have to go to where they headed, Fun Island. And it was it was some island. The translated, they said to Fun Island. So I don't know.
Wow. So
then those fucking lizards come aboard, and there's this whole then he has these grenades with the spears. So he's fixated. So then that's when the trailer you see him riding a jet ski with the spear, and he's he rides the wave and spears one in the head. Okay.
With the grenade on it, and it blows up the lizard.
It blows the head or whatever. No, the lizards they were shooting with they were shooting them, and there's the black guy who was in the first one. He's in this one. He's apparently worked out. He can swim now. Remember that was a joke before. He couldn't swim or some shit.
Oh yeah, you can't have.
So he can swim now, and which was always weird when he's I can't swim. I was like, wait a minute.
What are you doing?
You're on an ocean project. You can't swim. Whatever.
It's not that's a career limiting move. I feel like not being able.
Yeah,
to
especially
swim.
in that kind of line of work. I'm a marine biologist, but I can't swim. So he can swim now, and he's been working out. He can do he knocks him out, and so he's carrying a fucking deagle in his bag, and he does this running slow mo, one handed with the deagle side, to the side. I was like, with a deagle, that a fucking Shot out of his fucking hand, hit him in the face. So then, the most egregious part is when there's a helicopter had crashed, and it's on some sort of like little island, like a little berm or something, and the Alpha Meg, what they call it, it's the biggest Meg they've ever seen. It was coming for Jason Statham. So he takes a fucking propeller and props it up like a spear, and the thing goes to bite him, and he stabs the fucking thing in the head, and he's like holding it up like, ugh, and I was like, how heavy is this? So that's why I looked at. I was like, how heavy in the movie theater? I was like, this guy can hold a fucking building. It's 100,000 pounds. He can hold a building.
You were so pissed. You started fact checking during the movie.
Because I saw him prepping for it. Like he like picked it up and like stuck it into the ground.
Did he like rip it off of the helicopter? It was already on the ground.
It was already on the ground. Like it crashed. He just picked up the wreckage. It was like prepping it into the ground, like holding it as a spear. I said, wait a minute. If he stops a Meg going full speed, which I mean that's got to be like 40 miles an hour. So it's like a fucking building traveling a speed of a car. And he's going to stop it.
And the Meg is jumping out of the water to attack a single person on land. Yeah,
and he's gonna and he sits there like hits it, like stops, like like you see the movies where like a tiger comes or some shit, and you're like, that's more believable. I think that's happened before. At least a tiger's like 300 pounds, not 100,000 plausible. Pounds. I was like, oh my god. I was like, so that's when I.
Why are the Megs hunting just Jason Statham though? Isn't there other shit in the ocean they would rather be eating?
Yeah, whales. You think whales? They're eating people. I would think they would eat whales and shit. I mean, that's what at least I know scientists had assumed that's what they were eating before.
Yeah, like if you're however many tons, there's not enough. Would have to be eating so much.
Yeah, to eat people like krill.
Yeah, like you would have to just be eating. You'd have to take down a state. Every day you'd have to eat like Rhode Island's worth of population.
Yeah. Don't worry about the overpopulation anymore. Meg will take care of that.
Okay, so he was able. None of the other environmental things can kill the Meg, but a helicopter blade stabbed him up in the head. Yeah, and he's half dead on the beach. Then, and half in the water,
a little berm or whatever the fuck he was on, and then he like drops it. And he's like, oh, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, he stopped. I was like. That's when I looked it up. I was like, oh my god! And then Jeffrey's like, that. I think the helicopter blade would have broken. It's like, you're goddamn right. The helicopter blade would have broken. Let alone he made able to hold the fucking thing up in the air. Are you kidding me?
So he's basically held up like a house.
Yeah,
or a big
or a skyscraper.
Wow! I was like, oh my god!
We went from free swimming down in the Marianas Trench to hold. I said, this man's Superman. Just put the red cape on him. Fuck.
Just do it. Fucking market.
Just call it Superman. Don't call it the Meg. Just call it Superman. Superman versus V Meg.
Did you? You should have yelled all these parts. Cap. Stop the cap.
Stop the cap.
Cap.
And then like there was a part where also on Fun Island, along with the three Megs, the lizards came out there, and
everybody.
The Kraken came out and was wreaking havoc with the people too.
How big's the Kraken in comparison to the Megs?
They had a battle. The Megs.
Oh, I would think that the Meg would eat the Kraken because it's like, it's a sizable snack for it at least.
Yeah. There was a battle going on, and the Meg won, but I can't remember how the Meg then died after that or some shit. So I asked Jeffrey. Wow. I said, "What do you think? Is it cool?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like,
"It's a little bit much. Too."
Well, he had beef with him holding the Meg up. I don't think he did the Marianas Trench math, which is fine. He doesn't know that yet.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I wanted to see more Meg and less of that guy fighting other guys. Because that was the majority of the movie was him like,
Jason Statham beating everybody up.
Yeah. I was like, I agree. I mean, if you're going Meg, they might as well just put the Meg.
So how did the movie, spoiler alert, everybody, he just killed all the Megs?
With the exception of the trained one. Because remember, at the end, he was coming to kill, and the guy's like, hold on, click, 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 click. And then he went away. He's like, oh, see. And then they were drinking on the beach, and like, like, what a day kind of thing. It's like, get the fuck out of here.
What a day. So Meg 3, when's that coming out, do you think?
I don't know, but I will not be seeing it in theaters.
That one's like a direct to DVD maybe, or right to streaming.
Yeah. Peacock better
Wow.
pick that one up because that's.
I mean, I gotta say, I really enjoyed your retelling of it. And I, just hearing it, I was triggered multiple times.
There was others, and I can't remember. Those are the ones I think.
Those are the biggest.
I was taking like mental notes. I was like, oh, I'm
most
going to talk about this. I'm going to talk about this. The free swimming really jarred me. And I was like, oh, I'm definitely talking about this. And then like there was other parts in between. And then when he fucking speared the Meg and was holding it up in the air, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, reached in my pocket. I was like, how heavy are these things? I said, a fucking great white's like 6,000 pounds. There's no way he can hold that. And this is 10 times larger than a great white, where the fuck it's supposed to be. I can't remember what. So 20 feet to 60 feet, 3 times larger. So, but I was like, it was like 50 tons. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
I mean, anything 50 feet, a 50-foot bag full of feathers would fucking smother a human.
Yeah.
Let alone a megalodon shark.
And it's not like he was floating and
mercy.
he speared him. He was actually like coming at him, with some force. It's like, I guess the laws of physics don't even apply to him
No.
at all.
And so he can get out of the water, I guess. The Meg can get out of the.
He beached himself to eat the T-Rex. So
Oh wow!
that was my first. I was like, what the hell? He's hunting T-Rexes on the shore?
So how long into the movie? How many minutes until you already knew it was going to be a lost cause? Was it that scene?
It was the opening's probably about 5 minutes in when
Oh no!
he ate the T-Rex. I was like, what is this? Is this beach on a cliff? Like, is there like a trench? Like it just drops straight down? I mean, how the fuck do we not see this big ass shark?
Just
He beaches himself and then drags himself back in. I was like,
also, of all the Jurassic Parks, I've never seen a fucking T-Rex hang out on the beach catching some fucking sun rays for himself.
eating. Oh, and it was funny because the T-Rex, like these little lizard things, were eating a dead carcass, a huge whatever it was some dinosaur. So he skips the dead carcass, this massive dead carcass, to eat these little tiny little fucking. I was like, wait a minute, I think he'd eat the carcass, but that's okay. I'll let that slide. But then when the Meg came out, and I was like, I'm about ready not to let anything slide because this is getting fantastical. And then
It's too much.
And then the free swim. I was like, oh, the Iron Man suit walked down on the bottom of the trench. I was like, oh my god.
He's walking around on there.
Yeah, with his Iron Man suit. At the bottom
Was he
of the trench.
like at least acting like it was heavy?
Yeah,
Or was
they were
he
like
just kinda-
walking. They had like these weird gun thingies. I don't even know what they had. They were trying to shoot shit. I was like,
Wow.
it
Did he
was-
get any of the briefcases back?
No, he didn't even bring a briefcase back. I mean, that's the one thing I was like, if I were there, you're already there. You got to take the fucking. I'm taking one worth $1 billion. It's coming home.
Yeah. Sell it back to the government so they can make some sort of like nuclear weapon with it or something for the Oppenheimer. The Oppenheimer tie-in. Yeah. Wow. So, CERN, what are you putting on for your audience score for the Meg? Knowing that the tomato meter's 28 and the audience score is 7.
Oh, I'm going single digits. I'm going to go with an 8.
Wow.
I just couldn't get over.
It's just too much to ask for you to make some of these.
So this
yeah.
was a great debate in the house, in the car,
Mm.
because I was complaining.
Yeah, what'd the
about-
wife think?
I mean, she's like, it was okay, she did that kind of, which means,
Very political answer.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then it was this debate because I was lamenting about him holding a 100,000 pound shark in the air with a fucking fiberglass helicopter blade.
Thing would snap like a fucking tooth.
Yeah, it would just would crumble. But
Yeah.
I was then told, well, do you like Star Wars, which has lasers and, this and that? And I said, listen, if we are setting the rules, Star Wars has set the rules. This is what we're doing. We're doing lasers. And I said, and we stick within the rules that we've established.
Yes.
I am cool. We have established that we were in modern day times and everything is supposed to be like your real life. And he's free fucking swimming down to the Marianas Trench. You've now lost me.
We have departed from
Yeah.
reality.
I said, in one of the new Star Wars, when Princess Leia was blown out of the ship into space and she used the Force to get back. That I was not
I had
okay
a
with
problem
that.
with that as well.
I said I was not okay with that because then why not just jet around fucking space using the Force? Why do you need a spaceship?
Just fucking
Yeah.
swimming in there.
Yeah, I said so. I said that as long as you stick within the rules you establish, like Terminator, there's a killer robot from the future. It's fine.
Sure. Yeah.
We stick within those rules.
That's a good rule. I like that. That's a good. Those are good guardrails to have. Like the Predator or whatever movie, Marvel, their superheroes exist. Okay, cool. It kind of makes sense within the thing, but this, you can't.
We're just making up as it goes. It's like, okay, well,
Wow.
now he can do this. It's like, oh, well, special ops. These guys are trained killers. Can't hit Jason Statham run down the hallway with a fucking machine gun and a red dot sight from about 20 feet away.
I mean, I've never shot a gun in my life. I could probably make it happen.
I think I could do it with a musket.
Just fucking jamming the powder keg for those big, where remember how it would go out like the one of those British
the
ones
elephant ones, like from Jumanji.
That's it right there. That's it. I don't think, and that's the CERN review of the Meg 2. I don't think there's any better way.
Watch it at home, preferably swerving.
Got to be heavily dosed, 10, 20, 30, 40 milligrams of THC, couple brewskis in you, chop up a few rails, might as well tie one on. Yeah, chase the dragon a little. You gotta get in quite the state of mind to make your way through that one. But I'm tuning in next week for more CERN movie reviews.
Oh, when the movie got over.
What did your neighbor think?
I said, see you at home. I think I was just feeling sour about what I just witnessed. So I said, see you at home. I did one of those, I got the...
Were you paying attention during, was he engaged to it? Was he blindsided by this movie? What do you think?
Know. He didn't move. He's was a statue. He was taking it in. I don't know. And he was out pretty quickly. So I don't know. He didn't make any noises. I think he looked over once when I couldn't stop laughing at some bullshit that just happened in front of my face. I was laughing. I was giggling. Because it wasn't a funny moment. It was just something
just
ridiculous.
So implausible that you couldn't take it.
I think it was the free swimming. I just started giggling oh, he has to breathe through the sinus cavity. I said, wait a minute, the air's still going in. It has to go to your lungs for you to breathe. So, what the fuck are we talking about?
It's just defying every single principle. That's pretty rough. They couldn't even give him he found an oxygen tank and he's sort of swimming around with that. At least you maybe could have given that to them, but without, I don't know.
And the water temperature, it would be freezing. I would think. They had the thermal layer or whatever, but was that going to make it? Is it like the atmosphere of Venus where it's cool 80 degrees or some shit? What the fuck are we doing?
Oh man. Well, Cerny, thanks for sucking it up and taking one for the team, for Team Chip and CERN show to watch that movie in the theaters. Do you think that's probably not going to bring in $1 billion like Barbie?
No, I have to see Barbie. That's probably for another day.
Oh, that is for another day. We'll stay tuned for that review. But until next time, I'm Chip.
I'm CERN.
Cheers.